Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Kicking It with Cal. I'm your host, Cal Denicky, and we have our recurring guest, Chico, on the pod today, coming in live from
I'm
St.
back.
Petersburg, Florida. Chico, how you been?
I've been good. I've been good. It's Memorial Day weekend, so I made the decision to come down here and spend it with my boy over here. So yeah, now we're potting.
Yeah.
Here we are.
So Chico flew in from Indianapolis, and we're happy to have him here. And wanted to jump on the pod and talk about being on an airplane. So most of the podcasts have been sharing someone's story and maybe something they're passionate about, but we want to go a little niche today and talk about the ins and outs of being on an airplane for those who like to travel. Or if you don't, maybe you'll learn a little bit about what it's like to be on an airplane. So we'll get it started.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you a window, middle, or aisle type of person? If you don't have the option, what would be your preference?
Window for sure. I'll
Window.
say you want to be right there. You want to see the takeoff. You know what I'm saying? Take some pictures too on the way there. Honestly, I've had some really. Let me see if I have my screensaver. If you guys can see this right here, one of my best ever pictures I've like actually had was from a window seat whenever like the sun was setting
Can I see
over
that?
there. Yeah.
Ooh,
So the sun was setting and you don't get that anywhere else.
that's some good stuff.
Can't get that whenever you're in the aisle. You have to be by the window.
Yeah. Anyone who chooses middle, I don't think anyone in the history of the world would ever say they enjoy being in the middle.
No.
But for me, if it's a short flight, 2 hours or less, window all
Yeah.
day. You want to get the views and it's kind of comfortable. You kind of nestle your head back there if you want to take a nap. But anything longer than 2 hours, I like the aisle just because you have the flexibility to kind of stretch out your legs if you want to.
That is true.
And I've got a tiny bladder. I got to go to the bathroom frequently, and
Yeah.
it's just easy to get out of the aisle to do that if you're in the middle or the window. Sometimes it's uncomfortable if people are sleeping or you feel like you're bothering them to have them get up, and some people get a little moody and
You never want to be that guy where it's like, hey, like, can you move your seat real quick? Can you unbuckle?
yeah. Are you someone that likes to talk to your neighbors in the aisle and in your row?
If they're cool, but generally no. I can't
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that. Usually I'm just like AirPods in, you know what I'm saying? I've downloaded about like two movies. I got a playlist or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of like my little zone because I'm trying to get wherever I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
I'll say for the most part, like I'll say for here, like I flew from Indianapolis to come down here. It was about like 2.5 hours. So I'm like, man, I have like my playlist and I have like my episodes I'm gonna watch. So unless it's somebody like you'll like see like somebody's cool, like you might like say something here and there, but generally no.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I think when I was in my early 20s, I would always try to start up a conversation just to see if there was a connection with anybody. And as I've gotten a little bit older, I try not to, I'll maybe say hello, but it's always awkward getting stuck in a conversation, especially when someone really wants to talk and maybe you stayed up late or it was an early flight and you just want to sleep.
Yeah.
But I did have a really cool story when I was flying in Australia last summer. A girl sat down next to me and I could hear her FaceTiming. She had an Irish accent, and I was like, oh, I went to Ireland the summer before, and I thought, I don't know. I started a quick conversation with her, and it turns out she knew one of my good friends in Ireland, and they played football together, Gaelic
See.
football. It was such a cool connection. We ended up talking for the whole hour flight and had a lot in common through our mutual friend. And it was cool. And I don't get that very often. But if you do feel like there's a connection to be had,
Oh
should,
yeah,
I
say
mean,
something.
yeah,
I'll say for mine, whenever I was flying over, like there was like two kids, like one maybe I was like 10 and like his like a little brother. So it's just like we're not gonna get that much of a connection right now. So yeah, if it's somebody that like you see is interesting, like strike up a conversation. But for me, for the most part, I'm just like headphones in, like
yeah,
kind of vibing out.
yeah. What do you feel about putting your carry-on under your seat like you're supposed to, or do you ever just stash it up so you have a little bit more leg room?
Oh, if I can, I'll stash it up there. But you know how it is. Sometimes, like everybody has like their suitcase and stuff up there, and so like they'll make you like throw it down there. But I'm not mad at that. More so, I would get like annoyed whenever the flight attendants. Obviously, we thank you guys, but like same times, like it'll be tucked like underneath over there, and they're like, talking to you like more. And I'm like, what? They're like, what? Like it's under there. Come on now. But other than that, it is what it is. Like I'm gonna be okay.
I don't think I've ever been told to like tuck it in more or like anything. I've never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
But I fly Allegiant a lot just because it's the cheapest way for me to get back home to Illinois to see my parents.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, if I can stash it up there, I will. If there's room, I will. But there's always that awkward time where like it's overpacked in the overhead, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh wait, are they gonna know that like it should be under my seat, but it's not?"
Yeah, you got your bag up there. Like, whose bag is this? So I was like, oh man, that's mine. Hopefully nobody like knows who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about knee room on the airplane? Do you ever feel uncomfortable? Are there any particular flight companies that have less or more leg room? I guess depending on height too, depending on where you're flying to, if it makes you uncomfortable with the knee room.
It's all about the time. I'll say that, like how long like your flight is, because like for the most part, like all my flights have usually been about like 2 to 3 hours. If like anything longer, you're having to lay over somewhere. But knee room can get there if it's longer. Like you recently went over to Australia, so like that flight's a long one. Like I did a flight to like Africa, and like going there, like I was cool because we're in like the front kind of like exit row, so I had good knee room. But coming back, like we had like literally like the back row, and so I'm sitting in there. I'm like, man, I really want to like move my knees around and just like kind of like let loose. But knee room, it depends on how long the flight is. If it's anything, I would say like international, like about like 4 hours. Yeah, you need it. Go ahead and invest.
My flight to Australia, I got really lucky too. I was in the exit row and could just pull my legs out, do what I want. And the person next to me like had anxiety about sitting on an airplane. They literally stood like the whole flight, like by the bathroom. So I didn't have anyone next to me. But I'll be flying to Kenya this summer, and I've never paid to have a seat next to someone I know, but because I'm doing this trip with friends, we got our seats right next to each other. So I'm really excited to like
that's gonna be
just
good.
talk to some like friends that I've known for a while, and I've never had that before. So pretty stoked about that. What do you think about getting food and drinks on the flights? Do you do it? Does it depend on how long the flight is? What are you getting to drink? What are you getting to eat? And what's that like for you?
Okay. Usually I'm doing whatever like is offered to me. So like whatever like the actual like bare, minimum of necessities. If they have like water, the little like pretzels or chips or whatever they give to you. I'll get some of those. For the most part, like how I said a little bit earlier, like I'm just trying to get to like wherever like my little destination is. So I don't really go for like a drink or anything like that. But if it's vacation, I might dabble. But then you have to get your card out, and like you have to do all that kind of like, unless you have an account with like the air carrier that you're with. But for the most part, just like whatever, like water or like ginger ale, whatever it is, and the chips.
Yeah, I'm a pretty frugal guy, so whatever they offer, I'll take.
Yeah,
but I am a Allegiant World Mastercard holder, so free drink on every flight. So
talk your talk.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, this way.
You get a free drink, so I'll get that. But I'm not getting meals unless I'm doing international and they provide it for me. Like it's pretty expensive on there. So going to the bathroom. What's your experience going to the bathroom on a flight? Do you do it? Do you try to stay away? And have you had any stories about bathroom flights?
I try to like wholly like probably like use the bathroom before I leave, but obviously when you gotta go, you gotta go. For the most part, I'm cool. Like it just sucks like whenever like if you're at the window seat, like how I said, like the window seat, now you have to like tap whoever and make that awkward like all right. But I wouldn't say there's any weird stories. The most part like it's like everybody wants to go use the bathroom at the same time, and so sometimes you're like waiting in line and it's kind of like feels weird just kind of like standing out there. Nobody like bombs the bathroom before you go in there. But other than that, no, I can't say anything crazy. But I try to empty my bladder before I get on the plane, just because I just don't want to be that guy.
I always tell people if I'm not, if people need to come over me, like if I'm not in the window seat, I say, if I fall asleep, feel free to wake me up. I won't care at all. And that's just standard protocol for being on a flight. But Yeah, I got nothing. No crazy bathroom stories on a flight, but sometimes on the long flights, like it's just nice to like get up, move your legs, and
Oh
maybe
no,
just
no.
stand in there for an extra 2 minutes. And
Oh, the long flights. Like whenever I was like on my way back, oh man, I used to use like the bathroom like every like 2 hours. I'm like, I just had to get up, like get a little like leg room real quick, you know?
yeah, what's something strange that's happened on a flight that you've been on that you recall,
Strange,
or memorable?
memorable. Um, for the most part, I would say the worst. It's not really strange, but like we had like a couple like just like flight delays. We got on like a plane in Dallas, and we're like going back home. This after like we kind of vacation, so we're tired, ready to get back home. And like we get on the plane, and there's like a weather delay. They like deboard the plane. Then like get back on there, and they're like, "Oh nope, we got to deboard." I'm like figure it out. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Strange wise, it's not me, but I always like go back to like that little viral clip where that one girl was like, "That mug right there is not real." You know, I'm like, yo, everybody's like, what? That's the one I'm like, man, if I had one of those moments, I have not had any of those like crazy like person like moments like that, but I kind of wish I was there. I'm like, who is that? Who is not real back there, you know? But nothing strange.
Yeah.
Anything for you?
Three come to mind. One, I don't know if it's a Florida thing, but when people clap when the plane lands, I'm
Mm,
always flabbergasted. Like
yeah, I'm shocked.
it's like when the sun sets, like people start clapping. I think it's a Florida thing. They clap
Yeah.
when the sun sets and when the plane lands, and I just like, okay, that's kind of strange. You don't see that everywhere.
Right? You didn't expect us to land, like
Yeah.
something like that.
I've only flown Spirit once, and it was going out to Oregon. We had a layover in Vegas, and I'm pretty sure Spirit does a lot of their stuff out of Vegas.
Yeah,
And the flight attendant was just hilarious. It was really early, and he just had this like way about his humor that made everybody crack up. It's
that's
like,
good.
no one wants to be here right now. It's 5 a.m. And like everything he said was just money. So I'll
Yeah.
always remember him. And I had an instance once where a woman spilled super, super hot coffee right on her lap, and she sat right next to me, and it was a scene. She started screaming, and I was just like, none of it really got on me, maybe a little bit, but it was this whole ordeal where the flight attendants had to come like take care of her, and I thought I was gonna be like questioned for how did it spill on her, and
It's like people. That's why you don't like go above and beyond. Be frugal. Whatever they offer you, you take that. You do not go above and beyond. Otherwise, you're gonna have soup on your lap. The next thing you know, you're screaming.
so it was very memorable. I don't know what ended up happening to her, but I'll never forget her just screaming in my ear and thinking, "This is I don't know if this is gonna ever happen again." You like to read, listen to music, or listen to a podcast? What would be your preferences and why?
I go music first. Usually, what I'll try to do is I'll download like some shows, or like
Mhm,
movies that I haven't watched before.
mhm,
But sometimes whenever I get like on the actual plane, I'm just like I just want to like jam out for a little bit,
mhm,
and so I do that, and then eventually I'll probably watch a show or something like that. But man, I go music first, just so you just kind of like jam out. Hopefully, I can fall asleep,
mhm,
and then probably a show next or like whatever movie,
mhm.
just because I use that time to kind of catch up. I'm not like a
Yeah,
big movie buff or like watch shows like that much,
yeah,
but like I'll use that moment like, hey, like what's that one movie that everybody's talking about,
yeah,
So like let me like download it, and actually watch it on the plane.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I agree with that. I don't watch movies very often. I don't watch TV very often, but when I'm on a flight, it is cool to just kind of get lost in
yeah,
it. But sometimes I like to read or journal or podcast, just depending on what's going on. I don't really have a set
yeah,
curriculum, but uh, it'll eventually end up with taking a nap. Like I got my neck pillow, we're taking a nap, and then wake up
yeah.
and try something new. So, um, which leads me to my next question. For you, is it worse to forget your headphones on a flight or at the gym?
On a flight for sure. The gym at least they have some vibes in there. They're playing some like music, but on the flight now you can't even do anything that we just like talked about that like
Mhm,
that last question. You can't listen to music, you can't watch your shows, and you can't
mhm.
listen to a podcast. So yeah, like you're right there in your thoughts,
Yeah,
and it's not like you can talk to whoever's like right next to you, but most likely they got their headphones in. They're doing a little vibe too. So it's like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I asked a lot of people that question, and I'm curious for you all who are listening. how you would answer that. So comment or let me know in real life what you would do. But for me, I forgot my headphones on a flight recently, and I was kind of miserable. I had a book with me, and it got me through. But man, it's just with all the people there, it's nice to just be in your own little bubble with the headphones.
Yeah.
I forgot them at the gym too recently, but you can kind of work through it with the music
Yeah.
that's playing and just focusing on the lifts that you're doing or running, whatever is going on. But man, when you know you got a 2.5 hour flight and you forgot them, it's just like,
You have something to do whenever you're at the gym. So you have some motivation to kind of zone out. Whenever you're on the flight, you're like, all right, well, I'm here. It's like being in the car.
Yeah.
Like, think if you didn't have like an aux cord or whatever,
Right.
Bluetooth. Now you're just like sitting there, just like, oh, what?
Yeah. When you get on the flight, what do you typically like to wear for your attire in terms of the temperature? Are you wearing a hoodie? And because I always have like the same outfit that I wear. Like I always like line it up the night before, and it's always like the same shirt, pants, everything. But for you, what's temperature like, and what's your attire like for the flight?
I'll just go off recency bias. So I came down here. I'm coming from Indianapolis. I used to like live down here. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get some Tampa. I have this Tampa Bay Rays like shirt, this shirt, like, I know these guys called the Bootleg Boys. They make really good like shirts like this, like little graphic tees. But he makes a little Tampa Bay shirt, right? So I had that, and then I had actually like I had pants on.
Mhm.
I shouldn't have done that. Like it's the middle of summer, or like the start of summer over here in summer, so it's hot. But I'll try to kind of conform to wherever I'm going. Like if I'm on vacation mode, I might like have some a little more like chillax, like to like travel with. I'm not the person like dress up to get on the plane,
Yeah.
especially if I'm not talking to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to like relax on the plane.
Yeah.
But yeah, more so chill. I would say like maybe a hoodie. Like if I'm going somewhere, like if it's colder in the winter, like a hoodie and some sweats.
Mhm.
If I'm coming here, I would say like a nice t-shirt. Obviously something that's like presentable, like because you never know who you'll like run into sometimes. And
Meet that future wifey.
you never know. What I say, you never know.
That's for another pod.
Yeah, that's for another pod. Subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe. What I say for that pod. Yeah, just some more chill, some relaxed, so I can feel comfortable in. I want to be like stiff, like while I'm sitting.
Yeah. I always wear my Adidas soccer joggers,
Yeah.
like just super comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll always wear either a hoodie or a crew neck because most flights I take are usually pretty cold, and I always turn the AC vent like to blast me with the cold air because it puts me to sleep, and I love sleeping on the plane with my neck pillow that I paid $50 for. Probably could have got it for $25 off Amazon, but I bought it at the airport.
At the airport, I was about to ask you. I'm like, yeah, they tax on in the airport.
Yeah, so I'm a hoodie, joggers, a comfortable pair of shoes. I think if I just had a t-shirt on, I would get cold, but like I'd rather take it off than have to put it back on. So temperature is key. I think, especially when you're sleeping, like the colder temperature, the better you're going to sleep. You bring earplugs? Do you chew gum? Either or?
I do gum just because I like, for me personally, wherever I am, I just want to be like courteous to whoever I'm sitting next to. But I ran into the issue because if you're gonna sleep, I don't want to sleep with like gum in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like next thing you know, like emergency landing because I'm like choking on my gum. But like I'll chew gum, no earplugs because I have like my headphones in. But yeah, I'll chew gum, and then other than that, I'm just trying to be respectful, like be like a good
a good Samaritan.
Yeah, good Samaritan, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to bring earplugs. I kind of like it. I know my AirPods have the noise canceling, so I could probably just use those. But there's something about like the feeling of twisting up an earplug, putting it in, and then like feeling it expand in your ear is kind of cool. And I think it does work a little better than my AirPods. So if I have them around, I'll bring them. Like I'll read with them in, and then just kind of take a nap for a little bit. But I don't know too many people who still use earplugs.
I'll be seeing them sometimes though.
Yeah,
they're coming back in.
What are your thoughts on people standing up immediately after the seatbelt sign turns off? And what do you think? Because you stand up and you still got like 20 minutes to get off the plane.
Yeah, sit down. Let's be real. Sit down. Come on now. I get you want to get up, but you're not gonna like get there faster by standing up. It's like more so just like kind of annoying a little bit we're just like, all right, whenever like it's our time to like actually stand up and get out of like the plane, yeah, we'll get there.
Mhm.
But sometimes people like be so quick, and it almost causes more commotion because some
Yeah,
people are like trying to get their stuff out. It's like a rush to get like your stuff off like the little top little bin. It's
yeah.
like it's not going anywhere, Don't worry, nobody's stealing it. But usually at that point, I'm like, all right, like we're gonna get there whenever we get out. Like, don't worry, they're not gonna like sit us back down. But
Yeah. People always get, I feel like you can always read or feel people's energy on an airplane, like whether someone's upset or they're making little snooty comments and
yeah,
they're calling their husband, whatever. Like, I've come to the conclusion that when you're able to stand up, like, if your legs are sore and you're in the aisle, like, okay, it's fine. But like the people who are just, there's a difference between having to catch a layover and like actually in a hurry to get off, and the
yeah,
people who are
yeah,
just upset that like they're not getting off sooner. And
yeah,
I don't know, reading people's energy on an airplane sometimes gives me anxiety because like, hey, we're all getting off at the same time. Like we don't need to be rude to each other
yeah.
because we want to get back to our family quicker, whatever the case may be.
And don't get me wrong, like if you have like a layover, like literally like your like next flight's like about to take off in about 30 minutes, go ahead, like go crazy, grab your stuff and like get out of there. But for the most part, people are literally at their destination whenever they get there. So it's like we're here, let's take our time, get our stuff out, let them like put a little thing up, make sure everybody's out, in a nice calm fashion. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Have you ever ran through an airport?
I haven't myself, but I know I was with a group that I think they were stuck at baggage claim or something like that, or like the security, and or something got lost. It was probably like they left their driver's license or something, like something important where you had to go like back and get it, and they had to run back and then run over there. And this is like to start the vacation. So you're like, damn, are they gonna make it? What happens if like like they don't make it in time? Do we still go?
Yeah.
But I have not personally ran myself, but I've been a witness.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I ran one time. I don't remember where I was at, what I was doing, but I remember like sprinting through an airport. Not sprinting, but like halfway between a solid jog and a sprint. And
Yeah.
I made it. I've never missed a flight before. So that's been kind of nice. But my weirdest experience in an airport was, I think it took me 45 minutes to get from one terminal to the next at LAX. It was like I was going through a maze. Like it took so long. I had to get across the entire airport. Luckily, it was like a 2 hour layover, so I didn't have that much, or I had a lot of time to kill. But like,
How is LAX? Because like that's next. I've never been West Coast people,
uh
but that's like next on my list. But like
it's just huge.
huge.
Like
Yeah.
it literally took 45 minutes when I landed off the plane to get to my next spot, and I
Sheesh.
was like, man, if someone had like less time than I did, they wouldn't have made it. It
I'd be
was
stressing.
so big.
Yeah, I would be stressing for real.
Yeah. So we always end the pod with one thing on your mind. So, Chico, tell us what's one thing that you're into nowadays or something that's in your life recently that you'd like to share, whether it's a book, movie, TV series, your job, anything that, something that's been on your mind lately.
I'm gonna like this time like to give a couple of shout outs real quick. I got a couple friends. One, I think we're talking about this before we actually started potting, like kind of the place I've been. So I wanna we'll start with like I'm gonna shout out Milwaukee. I love all my Milwaukee people. Love literally being on Brady Street. I miss it. We're talking about community. I love everybody that was over there I met. I got shout out my boy Drew. My boy Drew. I'm about to say I'm coming back to Naptown. Hopefully, like we link up and we'll be out there at that point. Obviously, shout out to everybody down here in St. Pete. A vibe, a vibe, a vibe.
A vibe.
Yes, a vibe. And thank you for this guy right here for like putting me on his spot again.
Cool.
Yeah.
For me, I got 2 days left with my students.
Yes.
So today's Memorial Day. We got Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'm about to wrap up my 7th year of teaching, and it's kind of crazy for me to say that because it feels like I just started.
No, clap it up. If you're watching right now, clap it up.
I know some of my students listen to this, but I felt like I was a baby teacher like pretty recently, and now,
Season vet.
yeah, I'm getting up there, and each year my kids always ask me, "What's been your favorite year? What's been your favorite class?" This, and it's just like they're all so unique.
Yeah.
This particular year, I have a group of volleyball girls who I had as seventh graders and now eighth graders, and they're in my history class, and they are just so much fun. Like they love to learn, they love to play volleyball with each other. We just really had this special connection, and it's a group of girls that I'll never forget. We had so much fun together, and the wins and losses didn't even matter. Like they were coachable, they were respectful.
That's good.
We share this energy that I'll never forget. So shout out my T-Bird volleyball team. You girls are the best. I'm gonna miss you next year, but good luck in high school, and you're gonna all do great. So thanks for tuning in to Kicking It with Cal. Until next time.
Until next time, guys.
Peace.
Peace.